Biden's a tyrant, is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. My fellow citizens of Alabama, let me tell you what Patrick Henry would have told you had he been here, because he did say it on March 23rd, 1775, in a little church in Virginia. This is no time for ceremony. The question before us is one of awful moment for our country. For my part, I consider it nothing less than a question of freedom or slavery. If we wish to be free, if we wish to preserve and violate those inestimable freedoms for which we have so long contended, if we mean not to basely abandon the noble struggle in which we have been so long engaged, then we must fight. An appeal to God is all that is left us. All across our country, people like you are standing and gathering in protest to the egregious procedures and policies of this president and his inept political establishment, which have done nothing to correct those problems. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we? Why sit we here idle? What is it that the gentlemen wish? Is life so dear, or peace so sweet, as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God, I know not what course others may take. But as for me, give me liberty, or give me death. Over 40 years have passed since that war in Vietnam. And over 40 years have passed since many of those young men who would be my age at this time lost their lives. They gave all. But their memory and the cause for which they perished shall never be forgotten. It remains for us to carry on their noble struggle. If we be united for our cause, dedicated to our country, and committed to our God, we cannot, nor shall we fail. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. We've got a great country, and if we don't wake up, we're going to lose it. We've got the future of our children and our grandchildren at stake here. It's not about us. It's not about what we stand for alone. It's what they've got to look forward to. And if we want a country, that will be to them what it has been to us, then we must do something. And it begins here, it begins now, and its result will occur on November 12th, November 2012, I should say, in this election. We've got to do it. It is for us to educate them and others around us. This place should be covered with people. It shouldn't be. It amazes me that in America, how many people are asleep. We need to wake up. It's all around us. As a previous speaker said, Steve, I believe, he said, you know, we become used to things. It reminds me of a story at West Point when, you know, our mascot was a mule. Mascot of the Naval Academy was a goat. And somehow some of the cadets borrowed their goat before the Army-Navy game, thinking it would upset them. Well, it did upset them. They beat us. But the story goes they got it back into a room, and the cadets were gathered around this goat. They were fearful of the tactical officer coming through and finding a goat in the room. And one of the cadets said to another cadet, he says, what are we going to do about this mess? What about the smell? And another cadet looked around the room and said, well, I guess the goat will have to get used to it. That's where we are. We have gotten used to taking our liberties and our freedoms from us. We've got to know what those liberties and freedoms are. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Right. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or the press, the right of the people peaceably to assemble and petition the government for redress of grievances. Those are all very special freedoms. That's the first and second in reverse order. I could give you the rest, but you get the idea. The power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution. nor prohibited by it, the Constitution to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. And yet we're seeing the federal government violate every right of the state to defend its health, safety, and welfare, whether it be immigration, health care, or whatever. It is not within the federal government to educate. They have no power to do that. And yet we see both the Republican and the Democrat administrations proposing no child left behind, race to the top. What's next? I'll tell you what should be next. We should elect people that understand the Constitution of the United States and stand for what it means, so that those thousands and thousands that have died will not have died in vain. That this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth.